Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kayla. If you're new here, I have 5 kids. I homeschool them and I'm a doula. And I really created this channel just to be a friend to other moms, to give encouragement and just to share my life. And so one of those ways is I just have been sharing some things that have helped me with homeschool. I've filmed other videos, but today I want to share my top 3 whys of why I homeschool. For starters, I just want to say it's really important to write down or to just think about, but I definitely recommend writing it down. Why are you homeschooling? Because it is a sacrifice. You're going to have hard days. If you've homeschooled even just a few days, you've realized there's going to be hard days. There are days that you have the best plan and it doesn't go as to plan. And so writing down why you homeschool and going back and reviewing those is just so important to keep you with the right perspective of why you're doing what you're doing and just to encourage yourself. And so I like to write these down every year at the beginning of the school year in August. That's when we start, sometimes early September. And then to rewrite them down and rethink about them in January after the holidays. Just like most educators, you can start to feel a little burnout of getting back into a schedule when you've taken so much time off. For us, we take the whole month of December off. And so my husband just pulled up, and so he's staring at me. So anyways, and so rewriting those down and going back to them and reminding yourself why you're doing what you're doing is just so important. And so for January, like I said, you can feel a little burnout. And so for me, reviewing those and keeping the right perspective when we're getting back into our routine is very needed. So I'm going to start. So number 1 is teaching my kids what I want. And that sounds a little scary because it's like, wait, you're responsible for teaching whatever you want. Like people can literally teach what they want. And yes, that kind of is scary for some people. But for me, just being able to dive deeper into the Bible, dive deeper into subjects that maybe I don't feel like the public school really dives deep enough into, but being able to really design our homeschool around the things that our family views as important in life, and of course giving them the education that they need. And so this is really cool because we can talk about things that the kids are really interested in, and instead of just like doing a brief overview, of, like, for instance, my kids, it was like 2 years ago. My oldest was in 3rd grade. My other kids were like 2nd, 1st grade, and they were obsessed with ocean animals. And so instead of it just being like maybe a week-long subject that we covered, we were able to get aquarium passes. We live in Georgia, so we got aquarium passes, and we're able to go, at least once a month to the aquarium and just dive deeper into these animals that maybe in school they just wouldn't be able to. And so I'm a firm believer that your kids are going to, and people in general, like adults, even whatever you're interested in, you're going to actually care about and like soak in the knowledge that you're getting. For adults, if we're not interested in something and somebody's trying to teach us something, we might remember the basics of it, but we're not going to hold on to the information we're learning if it's something we're just completely uninterested in. And so getting to dive deeper is just awesome. Also, with the teaching what I want, just teaching in general, being able to be the person that teaches my kids how to read and see them read for the first time, or see them struggle in math or whatever subject, and then being able to do it together and overcome whatever struggle they're having is just such a sweet thing for me. I love that. I love being able to be the person that is teaching them and watching them overcome their struggles and getting through it together. I envision my college age kids or my adult kids calling me and talking to me about their work, their schoolwork, or their job one day, and us being able to laugh at and remember some of the struggles and the things that we've gone through with schooling. And so just having that bonding, having that teacher-student relationship their whole life is actually such a blessing. because you know the ins and outs of everything that your kid is learning, and how they're doing in each subject, and what are their strengths and weaknesses. And it's actually just so cool. So anyways, that's one of my whys. Another why, I'm going to save the best for last. Another why is flexibility. So I hear a lot of homeschool moms talk about this, but I absolutely love the flexibility of being able to travel, being able to take our school to different states. Me and my husband both love to travel, and his job really actually allows us to travel a good bit. And so for me and the kids to be able to just pack up and go with him and take our school to North Carolina and Tennessee and Florida and Texas, and these are all states that we have gone to, and we're hoping to go to Colorado, and we're hoping to go to Washington, D.C. this year. We're hoping to go to a lot of different places. We've been to California. So we've been able to take our kids, Arizona, Nevada, to many states, and to be able to travel throughout the year without the restriction of only going on breaks. Also, we basically avoid places when there is a school break because places are so packed. So you can pay a large amount of money to go to, the aquarium, for example, or the Fern Bank. We have passes there. And just the crowds just make the experience, it's just 10 times better, but you paid the same amount of money when you get to go and you basically have the place to yourself. So the flexibility of going places and being able to enjoy experiences with lower crowds, that's huge for us. And, on a day-to-day basis, the flexibility of getting to start when we want to. I'm not an early morning person, so we start our school around 9, and we're able to end and get everything done by 12:30. Sometimes earlier, and depending on how long our Bible time takes, but because I don't like to rush through that. But the flexibility of being able to have the rest of our day to do fun activities. My boys do hockey. One of my daughters does musical theater with a local homeschool co-op, and one of my daughters does gymnastics. And so being able to do those after school activities in the afternoon is just, it's awesome, because even after those things, and they all take piano as well, but after those things, we're done with our day by 3:30 at the latest. Yep, that's the latest that we have anything going on as far as after school activities. And so that has just been awesome for us, except for hockey. They do have hockey on Monday nights, but not being controlled by somebody else. I think about, like, if my kids are not feeling well, and I don't have to turn in an excuse or take them to the doctor to get an excuse, because sometimes I don't need to take them to the doctor. It's just a cold, but they're not feeling good enough to do school today. Well, I don't have the restriction of, like, needing that doctor excuse in order for them to not get punished for missing a day of school. If we're late, like if I plan to start at 9:15, but the kids stayed up late the night before and we don't get started until 9:45, they're 30 minutes late, but who cares? So just the flexibility of being able to do those things, like being able to sleep in or start when we want to. I know so many adults that are trying to get out of, like, a 9 to 5 hustle. They're trying to, look at this, like, I'm creating content for YouTube, not that I'm making money or anything, but I just like the idea of not setting our kids up. Like, if you think about it, school is kind of like setting children up for the 9 to 5 hustle. They learn from an early age to wake up early and just get to it and rush out the door and, And so I just know so many adults that are burnt out and they don't want to keep living that way. So I don't want my kids to be burnt out before they even reach college or, the workforce. And so anyways, that's huge. So lastly, my favorite one that I saved for last is my kids and their relationship with each other. That is a huge why for why I homeschool, because growing up, I had one sister and we're 4 years apart. And growing up, we were not close at all. We are close now, thank the Lord. We are really close now. But growing up, we weren't, because we're 4 years apart. So when we went to elementary school together, I was in kindergarten and she was in 5th grade. So we went to school together 1 year. And then, right? I think I'm doing my math right. Yes. And then she went to middle school and I was still in elementary school. Then she went to high school. I was in middle school. Like, you get the picture. We were never in school together. We were never doing the same things. We did not have the same friends. I didn't even know her friends' names. Um, we lived two separate lives. I tell people all the time, for a while, I just felt like I was an only child because I just had my own life. I had my own class and my own friends, and then I started doing my own sport, and she was doing her own. Like, we literally were never together. And so for my kids, just being able to do life together, to do literally everything together, has been such a blessing to watch, watching them and their relationships grow. And there's five of them, so they don't always get along. In fact, there's every day there's some kind of dispute, disagreement, or something. But I truly believe that our siblings are the first relationships that we have to practice on loving people well. And so being able to talk through forgiveness, watch them maybe learn how their personalities work and how to, maneuver that. Like, when you have a strong personality, but you have a sibling that also has a strong personality, like teaching your kids how to yield, teaching them that you can't just get away from these people. You can't get away from people that cause you problems or that rub you the wrong way. It's just an opportunity for growth. And so daily we have conversations, so many conversations about relationships and how to push in instead of pull away, and how to forgive and all this stuff. But just watching their relationships flourish and grow, watching them forgive each other, watching them, even they know so much about each other because they're literally always together. Just even my older three, like hearing them kind of joke around, like, don't say that in front of what, they just know it. They know how each other tick. And I love that. I love that they're so close. I love that when I'm having a new baby, like, my 2-year-old, when I had her, one thing I felt a lot of guilt, and I know most moms do, when you're homeschooling and you're pregnant or you have a newborn or you're breastfeeding, like, it's homeschool kind of becomes on the struggle. It's a struggle at that time. But just being encouraged that your older children watching you nurture and take care of the babies is like definitely affecting them, making them better people. They learn how to take care of babies. They're learning how to nurture and care for their other younger siblings that maybe they need to help with because mom has the newborn. Like, just seeing their relationships, seeing them comfort each other, care for each other, forgive each other, those things are just like, I live for that. And so it's been such a blessing to watch that. I remember when I was young, I had my first when I was 22, and I remember being in church and watching this family that they had 4 kids, and all of them were grown except for I think one was still in high school, but their family homeschooled. And I just remember watching them and being like, their adult children are so kind to each other and just are so close. Like, you don't ever see that. And I definitely was not raised with that. Like, like I said, me and my sister weren't close. I'm not saying we fought all the time, but like, we really had no idea what each other was going through. It was just, we lived separate lives. And so I just remember sitting back and being like, man, I want that for my kids one day. Like, I want however many children I end up having, I want them to be close. Homeschooling does not guarantee your kids are going to be close, but at least it gives you the opportunity to be close. If obviously I pray about this and I want my kids to stay close, and I even have conversations with them about that, of like, one day you're going to be able to make the choice whether you're close or not. And so talking to my kids, like when my son has really hurt my daughter's feelings, and talking to him and saying, you don't want your sister to grow up and say, hey, I don't want to be his friend because of how many times he's been mean to me and hasn't, apologized, and like really having those conversations with them. And so anyways, I hope this is encouraging. I hope that you write down your whys to why you homeschool. Maybe some of my whys could kind of give you like an idea, or, for why you do what you do. Because on the days that are hard and the weeks that are hard and draining, going back and understanding and really thinking about why you do something is so important. It doesn't matter if you're on a health journey. It doesn't matter what it is. You can use this why thing on any area of your life. But with homeschooling, it just has really, really helped me to stay focused, bring perspective on days when it's like, I don't think they're listening at all, or my daughter is struggling with math so bad today. Like, it's going back, I didn't list those 3 whys. None of them were about how smart my kids are. And so and that might be different for you. You might be homeschooling because you literally just want to create this child genius, and like that's okay too. And then you'll be able to like maneuver what you're doing with them based off of your why. But mine are not about that. Mine aren't, creating these genius kids, even though I do think my kids are pretty smart. But all of mine really are tied to relationship and having strong bonds. And so, anyways, it really, really brings perspective of what's important, what I succeeded in, because your why shows you what you're actually doing right. And so, anyways, I hope this is encouraging for you. And don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you liked it, and comment any other videos that you would want to see. I'm hoping just to really share what I've learned on my journey so far, and for us to grow together. So thanks for coming.